For the longest time, I didn't really believe I had an art style, kinda like how I didn't think I had an accent when I was younger. I have the tendency to switch between drawing genres very quickly, whether it be a topic or a style, so I just didn't think I had a unique, standout sort of way of drawing. And I mean, sure, these days I draw with fairly thin lines, I draw my eyes like this, generally with black pupils. I give ears this line within them, and I put this shadow thing under anything that has a chin. But I didn't think it was enough to be considered a unique and recognizable style. However, something I learned quite recently is that a style isn't always exactly the way your art looks, but how you draw. It's a process that's often unique to everyone, which leads to different looks and feels and vibes across the work of different artists. Everyone who draws has a style, basically. Even you! You, viewer, that's right, I'm talking to you. This is what I want to explore today, the styles of different artists and how well I can replicate them. Specifically, artists in the Wings of Fire space. I picked out artists from suggestions and chose ones whose styles I thought were interesting, or from people whose styles I just wanted to try out myself for the longest time. Anyways, that's enough rambling from me. Let's start this little styles journey, shall we? That sounded so cringe. Starting off strong with the art style of Joy Ang, the iconic illustrator responsible for the cover art of all the US Wings of Fire books, as well as drawings ranging from the bases of all the dragon tribes to miscellaneous illustrations in the guidebooks and such. I might be speaking for most people when I say it was the covers and dragon designs that got me into the series. The artwork for the first cover alone brings me so much nostalgia whenever I look at it because it brings me back to the 4th grade when I picked up the book in my school library, admired the art for a while, and proceeded to not read it because I hated reading. But hey, I picked up the book again a couple years later and bada bing bada boom, here I am. Anyways, this style took the longest out of all the others, and I hope you can see why. It's realistic with a sprinkle of cartoony, which makes it very detailed and fantastical at the same time. It's also a lot of painting and color blending, which I personally had the most fun with. Luckily, with my character Twister here, I didn't have to draw a whole lot of the circle scales, thank gosh. And even more luckily, the Fantribe that Twister is a part of has a reference sheet that looks quite similar to Joy Ang's style, which made figuring out her other scale patterns much easier. This tribe is made by Parasite, by the way. The art in the little box in the bottom left corner is made by them, and their socials will be in the description. Speaking of Twister, I aim to keep her most iconic traits throughout the drawing process, like her twisted horns, the yellow crescent scale under her eye, and her curved tendril thing on her head, as well as other smaller details wherever I can fit them. Some of these styles had me redesign her a bit, which was fun, but also very experimental. And here's the final look. Although I rendered it out quite painterly, I feel like there are just some things that put it apart from Joy Eng's style. Despite this, I'm still really happy with how this turned out. Rendering is always fun for me, so it was nice to try this out with at least one of the styles. The next iconic artist we have here is the main graphic novel illustrator for the Wings of Fire series, Mike Holmes. His style is so very charming in my opinion, and I love it with all my heart. It's recognizable, very expressive, and I just love seeing all the Wings of Fire dragons being translated into his style through the graphic novels. I tried not to think about placements of lines and how Twister looked so much, just because I imagine that as a comic artist, you gotta pump out all these pages quite quickly. I wasn't really aiming for the cover quality art, but rather just trying to resemble the art from within the book itself. This style was overall very fun to experiment with, especially with Twister, and I think I replicated it pretty well. The thicker lines were fun to draw, and I liked adding all the smaller line details on her face and in her scales. My comb style is one that has influenced mine in little ways actually, so it was nice to try it out for myself. Now this style was a very interesting one. This style is the cover artist for the Japanese editions of Wings of Fire, Yamamura, which I hope I'm pronouncing right. Her art has been gaining some traction in the community for having very cute and different depictions of the Dragonets of Destiny, and in turn their tribes. I found her style to be very rounded, defined, and shiny smooth, not a blemish in sight. To try and fit Twister into this style, her design had to change a bit. I gave her thicker tendrils for her sail fin things and did not give her the defining scales on her face and neck. Instead, during the coloring phase, I gave her lots of wispy patterns and less details on her face. She acquired a beak and a jaw to match the coloring of her underbelly. The shading was fun because I got to make Twister look very shiny. I tried to make the shading smooth while making room for sharper shadows, and I added many reflective marks wherever she needed them. I can't say for certain if this looks exactly like one of Yamamura's illustrations, since she's mainly drawn the Dragonets of Destiny so far, but I sure tried my darndest. If I could do it again, I would probably change up her sails to be a little less uniform, but other than that, I really like how this came out. Finally, onto the artists of the Wings of Fire community, starting with Bellasaurus. She is quite well known in the Wings of Fire space for her art, animations, and recognizable personas. He has such a cool style of drawing that is just a real nice blend between cartoony and semi-realism, which makes for some real expressive and overall pleasant art to look at. So for his style, I used a nice textured brush for the line art that is barely noticeable, thank goodness, I say sarcastically, and kept most of the pattern simple and straightforward. Instead of defined head tendrils, Twister gets simple lines to break up her sail this time around. I also tried drawing her wings like Bella does, which is barely noticeable as well, but I think that particular way of drawing wings is really nice, and I really need to do a wing study for myself one of these days. I literally have no clue how they work, and I've just been, get this, winging it. I'll see myself out. So here's my depiction of Twister in Bellasaurus' style. I don't think I did it much justice with the angle I chose, but I'm still quite happy with how it looks in the end. Next up on the list is Artistic Angel Lucas, yet another well-known Wings of Fire artist, mainly for their multi-animator projects such as Hit the Road Jack and Carousel, and general Wings of Fire art and animations. She has a nice rounded cartoony style that is very recognizable, and her designs are always very cool to look at because of their exaggerated shape language and creative color choices. This one is gonna go by real fast, but essentially I tried to mimic that soft style into Twister. She got a lot of rounded and simplified features with smooth lines to outline most of her defining features. I said features twice, dang it. I tweaked some parts of this drawing in the end just because it wasn't vibing with me, like some patterns and the shading, but I'm still quite happy with how it looks. Twister just looks so nice and huggable in this style, and it's awesome. This next style is by the artist Sketchhope, and it's one that I admire a lot. They have this anime-looking way in which they draw dragons, which is really interesting and something I've not seen much of before. They have really simple designs that work really well, and their animations are just super cool. I think they are known the most for their Darkstalkers Diner multi-animator project. Anyways, this is a style that I had to redo because I wasn't too fond of my first attempt. So the one you're seeing right now is my second. I chose a downward-facing angle for this one and reeled back a lot on Twister's details. My favorite part about her is her hair, which is also the thing I was looking forward to the most when drawing this. She got kind of an undercut and mohawk going on, with a curl in the front to make up for the lack of a curling tendril. And here's the finished result. I feel like this style was a little more difficult for me just because I didn't want to make her look bald with her fewer details, and I've also never drawn anime before, but I like this one much better than my first attempt. Oh, and here's how that one looks, by the way. Up next is the art style of Studio Maverick Art. who I think is well known within the multi-animator project community for their many contributions to various projects. They have a style that is easily recognizable, and it's nice to see them and pick them out in all the different compilations. So, to mimic this style, I gave Twister a shorter face with a lot of rounded features. I was able to give her that funny shadow I like drawing under her chin, as well as some big old ears. I noticed that Maverick's rendering style has a lot of soft blended shadows, so I mainly used an airbrush when shading Twister. And here's Twister in Maverick style. I think I made them a little too shiny, especially in the forehead and snout, but I think everything else looks alright. Maverick's art and animations are super cool, by the way, and I think they're a little underrated, so I highly recommend giving them a follow. And finally, the last style I'll be replicating is the style of Hankai, which I hope I'm pronouncing right. I believe they are most known for the Peacemaker AU they were making a few years back, and have been an inspiration to me and many others who were just joining the Wings of Fire community for the first time. This one is also gonna go by fast, but I basically tried mimicking Hankai's exaggerated drawing style into Twister, with quick and thick lines and sharper features. So here's the final thing. I'm really happy with how this one turned out, and I think it's a style that I captured really well. I guess that's what 11 PM doodling does to oneself. So that's everyone. 8 different styles, including my own, all tried and tested. All the artist styles who I tried recreating will have their socials linked in the description. Go give them some attention. All their art is really cool and unique and awesome, and they totally deserve all the love and support. I'd love to hear what you think about my attempts in the comments below. Which ones were your favorite? What do you think was missing from a few styles? The feedback always helps me improve in the end, so I'm always open to constructive criticism. As long as it's, you know, constructive. Thank you for watching. I'd just like to say at the time of posting this video, we are on the cusp of 10,000 subscribers. So if you like this video, then please subscribe. And if that's not enough to entice ya, I promise that if I reached 10k, then I would draw 2 dragons queerly kissing like this image on screen right here. That's right, 2 dragons queerly kissing. If you want to see me draw 2 dragons queerly kissing, then hit that subscribe button right over yonder. I hope my family thinks I'm sane if they heard that. Anywho, that's all from me. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see ya when I see ya. See ya.